Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, pilot Jack Rulin in Skycam 16, Chief Meteorologist Tom Clark, and Joe Zone on sports. This is Newswatch 16.
Good evening. Since the outbreak of giardiasis, a lot of you here in northeastern Pennsylvania have been looking for ways to make your water safe to drink again.
One thing that seems to have caught on is the home water filter. In fact, some area distributors say that during the last 2 months, sales of these filters have jumped by as much as 75%. But just how well do they protect us from giardiasis? Our Action 16 reporter Gerry Gartenberg sent a random sample of filters to Colorado State University. Gerry went back to Colorado this week for the answers. Here's his exclusive report.
You've seen the ads, each company sounding more positive than the next and claiming their filter will stop the giardiasis from getting into the water you drink. Action 16 wanted to test those claims for you, so we came here to the Department of Pathology on the campus of Colorado State University. We came here to talk with this country's leading expert on the testing of filtration systems for giardia, Dr. Charles Hibbler. For the past 14 years, Charles Hibbler has been studying and testing city water systems around the country to see if they can filter out giardia. He's done testing for the Environmental Protection Agency in Cincinnati, and now our own Department of Environmental Resources has asked him to help with the problem in our area. So has the Pennsylvania Gas and Water Company. Dr. Hibbler agreed to test home water filters as a public service for Action 16. How does this test that you perform for giardia, how does it work?
We start introducing highly dilute and highly infectious human giardia cysts using 50,000 cysts per sample into a water line at a very slow rate, and then we collect water coming out of the filter just as you would out of your faucet and determine if any giardia cyst did pass the filter. It's a yes or no test. It will tell you if the filter was efficient in removal of giardia or it let them through.
Of the 7 filters Dr. Hibbler tested for Action 16, 4 filters removed every single giardia cyst, but the remaining 3 filters left thousands of giardia in the drinking water. The 4 filters that remove giardia are the Everpure, Microtwin, Royal Dalton, and the Siegel 4 purification system. The filters that left giardia in the drinking water are Pollenex, Instapure, and Mr. Water Filter. Pollenex and Instapure never claim they remove giardia, but we wanted to test them since a lot of you may already be using one of those filters. Mr. Water Filter does claim it will remove the giardia, but after testing it, Dr. Hibbler found 15,000 giardia cysts. And Dr. Hibbler says if he continued to run water through Mr. Water Filter, nearly all of the remaining 50,000 cysts would also get through. Doctor, what do these test results mean to those of us who are thinking about buying a water filter?
Of the 7 filters that we tested, any one of the 4 that you wish to hook into your home will effectively remove giardia from your drinking water. If you use the others, they will not remove giardia.
How much confidence can a consumer have in choosing a filter based on your test results?
100% confidence.
One caution for those of you who plan to use a water filter. No water filter will remove giardia from your drinking water unless that filter is properly installed and maintained. That means you've got to follow the manufacturer's directions, especially when it comes to changing or cleaning the filter cartridge. If you follow those directions and use one of the filters that passed Dr. Hibbler's tests, he says you can drink your water and not worry about giardiasis anymore. Gerry Gartenberg, Action 16, Fort Collins, Colorado.
Tomorrow, Gerry Gartenberg tells us why the giardia tests conducted for Action 16 are tests you can count on. If you'd like a copy of the test results, you can get them by sending a self-addressed stamped envelope to Filters, Action 16, Box 16, Avoca, Pennsylvania, 18641.
And now to other water matters, river water, that is. Newswatch 16 has had a team coverage of the February floods for you for 2 days now. And the Susquehanna River has crested in just about all areas in northeast and central Pennsylvania. Newswatch 16's Dan Fiorucci took a ride in Skycam 16 today to check it out.
Area, lightning struck twice. A couple of months ago, many of these same people caught the brunt of the December flooding, and now they've been hit again. And overall, from Sky Skycam 16, it looked like a lot of them were hit just as hard this time as they were last time. In Tunkhannock, the waters were high, but they did stop short of most homes and businesses, although some farmlands were completely underwater. The worst damage we saw was just south of Rivercrest. At least half a dozen homes were flooded out. Falls Township suffered flooding nearly as severe this time around as the last time, but it appeared that people who had built homes on stilts got through all right. In Plains Township, PP&L crews spent part of the day restoring electricity to flooded out customers. Just south of Plymouth, this farmhouse was flooded to the second floor, and in West Nanticoke, Route 11 and some side streets made driving treacherous. In Shickshinny, floodwaters were still rising early in the afternoon, flooding streets and playgrounds, with the river still several hours from cresting. At Bloomsburg High, the Panther football stadium was going underwater for the second time in 2 months. Where the west branch of the Susquehanna merges with the main river, this bridge was only a few feet above the river. Route 304 was completely submerged for over 1,000 feet. And along the west branch of the Susquehanna near Lewisburg, all the roads leading in and out of this trailer park were completely flooded. Aboard Skycam, Dan Fiorucci, Newswatch 16.
For the most part, the February floods have spared families along the Susquehanna River in the Wilkes-Barre area. But when the water comes up, low-lying areas like West Nanticoke do see some flooding. Newswatch 16's Mark Davis reports the river crested at 29 feet, and that means the flooding isn't as bad as at other times.
It's almost 2 months to the day since the Susquehanna was last covering Route 11. But thankfully this time the water is not as high. Here in West Nanticoke, the river this time is about a foot lower than it was in December. And that 1 foot makes a lot of difference because at this level, the water stops right about here. Whereas the last time, at 1 foot higher, the water came all the way back up into here and up into this area. Homes severely flooded last time are escaping the worst this time. While the water may not be as deep, the concern is. Shirley Parentoni and her family moved everything out of the basement as the waters came up.
This is too much. I don't know. If it's a couple years, you say, well, you know, we did this a couple years ago. But when you just did it a couple months ago, forget it. I'd like out of here. I've had it.
William and Alvina Jenkins are still settling their insurance claim for the damage done in December. Alvina can only remember one other year with 2 floods.
Only in 36 it did. And then it was just a week between the floods, and it was higher than what it is now.
By mid-afternoon, the sun was out and shining on the water. Brightening hopes here, the rise of the Susquehanna is over, at least this time. Mark Davis, Newswatch 16, West Nanticoke.
They're still waiting for the flood water to recede in Union County. The swollen west branch of the Susquehanna dumped muddy water in Lewisburg yesterday. And today you still need rubber boots to wade through it all. You might be able to tell here that the water has gone down just a bit, but it still looks much the same as it did yesterday, although the river crested last night here at 24 feet. Across the river, you can see that Route 405 is still covered, and those driving in and out of Lewisburg on Route 45 have to take it slowly, wading through about 6 inches of water. Not everyone who lives along the river was upset by the flood.
Mike Stevens will have that story later on our report. Newswatch 16 continues next.
Hi, I'm Chad Booth.
I'm Jane Adamizio. Join us tonight on PM Magazine when we'll be high atop Nicholson on the Nicholson Viaduct.
The golden era of radio lives on in a show called The Prairie Home Companion. Meet Garrison Keeler from the show.
And it's the day after voting. Let's highlight the great DJs in our contest.
Can tragic disasters like this be prevented? Meet a psychic who says yes and is doing something about it.
That's tonight at 7 on WNEP TV 16.
If a truck loses its brakes on a hill, careens through a stop sign, crosses a busy road on a sidewalk, and then crashes into a factory, you'd think there would be many injuries. There weren't today in Plains Township. This truck made an unexpected stop at the active quilting factory right through the brick building. Driver Lee Watonis of RD2 Greentown came down West Carey Street, steered his way through a busy River Road intersection, over the factory's lawn and into the plant. Fortunately, no one on the other side of that wall was hurt. The driver says he's lucky he didn't need any treatment for any injuries.
There's a new poll out tonight on the treatment of animals in zoos across the country, and a zoo in our area is listed as one of the worst. Scranton's Aug Zoo is on the list of the 10 worst zoos in the country in a poll of zoo professionals and animal experts. The informal survey was done by Parade magazine. The professionals who responded say Aug and the other zoos on the worst list are animal slums with cell-like environments. Some of the zoos that did get some praise in the survey were the Bronx Zoo in New York and the National Zoo in Washington.
Our chief meteorologist, Tom Clark, is coming up next with the forecast.
Finally, we saw some sun and blue skies today. It was glorious.
Finally, a much better day. And when we come back, I'll tell you how much longer the weather will cooperate.
Starting a family after the age of 30 tomorrow morning at 11.
Well, with all the flood news we've been having lately, it sure was a relief to see the sun shine today, right, Tom?
It was a relief, Karen, but too many clouds around today. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think so.
Even a few left over in the backyard at this hour. Oh, man. But you know, I had not one, but two reports today of geese flying north over this area, and that may mean an early spring coming, contrary to what the groundhog forecasted a couple weeks ago. The temperature now in the backyard, we have a cloudy sky overhead. The reading is comfortable, 47 degrees. The humidity is quite high, the wind is light, and the barometer is holding steady. The high today, look at that, 48 in this backyard. The low this morning was 39 beneath the clouds. The record high for this date, 74, set back in 1954. And that record low was set back in the 60s. The shot there is of tonight's sunset through a cloudy sky, some of those stratus clouds over the Wyoming Valley. How about the East Coast satellite view? There's the storm system that dumped all the heavy rain over Pennsylvania the past couple of days, moving away at less than 5 miles per hour. Crawling away. Some heavy rain still falling up in the Boston area, but from the ground up to 18,000 feet over northeastern Pennsylvania today, there was an east to northeast flow of moist air coming in from that storm system, and that's why the clouds persisted over the eastern half of the viewing area. But as you can see out in the western half, Williamsport and Sunbury and State College had a beautiful sunny day today with temperatures well into the 50s. 62 in Pittsburgh and close to 70 in Charleston, West Virginia. Now, storm number 2 over the nation's midsection will move up towards the Great Lakes and spin a front up towards Pennsylvania. That will bring some light rain, possible here late tomorrow, but nothing heavy, probably under 1/10 of an inch tomorrow night. Storm system number 3, look at it out there, fanning knee-deep snow in the Rocky Mountains tonight. That storm will spread some heavy rain and snow into the nation's midsection on Saturday, and then it could move up and bring us some more rain next week. So here's our forecast for tonight, a mixture of clouds and a full moon up there, peeking through at times. Temperatures, it'll be a dry night, nothing more than just some spotty drizzle in the Poconos. 39 in Clifford, 39 in Hanover Township, a low tonight. How about Kelairs, south of Hazleton in Schuylkill County? 34 in Middleburg, 38 in Kelairs, by the way. How about 34 out there in Pine in Clinton County? Tomorrow, a mixture of sun and clouds, a dry afternoon as I see it now. Temperatures up near 50, Pritchard, 48 in Weatherly, 51 down there in Atlas, 52 in Lewisburg. Your health watch is low on the concentration tomorrow because of high temperatures above normal and the high humidity. Okay, sunrise and sunset there. A little light rain coming in tomorrow night, near 50 for the high tomorrow. Some sunshine on Saturday, 53 on Sunday, a dry weekend coming up.
All right, we'll look forward.
Okay. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. Joe Zone next with the Olympic story.
Plus, Joe will have the sports star of the week. Tonight, a lady who's top in the gym.
Hello, I'm Jimmy Cephalo of the Miami Dolphins. I grew up in Pittston, and I love this area of Pennsylvania, but I don't like what's happening to some of our youngsters in this area and throughout the country: drugs and alcohol. Drugs and alcohol make you think that you're stronger, faster, and smarter, but they actually make you slower, less coherent, and weaker. Stay away from them. Do yourself a favor. They're only trouble.
Going for the goal. Let's find out if anybody did it today.
I am inviting everyone to stay home and watch television tonight and watch the TV right here. A spectacular day for the U.S. Bill Johnson did something no American has ever done. He won the men's downhill. No American had ever won a skiing gold.
I feel great. Finally having it around my neck, I think, is more proof than actually standing up there at the finish. You know, I was in there with about 30 different countries, and they're speaking 80 different languages, and it's finally sunk in. Yeah, it feels great.
And a young Swiss girl also made Olympic history today. Michela Fingina won the women's downhill at 17. She's the youngest gold medalist ever in alpine skiing. And Scott Hamilton grabbed the day's second U.S. gold just a little while ago. He won the men's figure skating competition. Now, our exclusive TV coverage tonight begins at 7:30, and it should be a terrific show with those 2 American golds to look for. Hamil El-Ridi did not win a medal today, but no one will convince the Egyptian he's not a champion. He took a nasty spill at the top of the downhill course, lost a ski, recovered, lost his goggles, and he finished the race. He came in last, of course, a couple of minutes out of it. At the bottom of the hill, his father, holding back tears, embraced him. You know what? It was his dad who forced him to sit in a cave in the Sahara Desert with snakes and scorpions to rid himself of all prejudice and fears. His dad made him wash dishes to keep him humble. He made him scrub a bathroom with a toothbrush to give him patience. And it was Hamil El-Ridi's dad who was waiting for him today at the bottom of the hill when everyone else had left. Tell me about the commercialism of the Olympics. Tell Hamil El-Ridi and his dad about it. That's an Olympic story. You know, I look at the Olympic skaters and they remind me so much of the gymnast who will be competing in the Summer Games. Our sports star this week won't ever be an Olympian, but you know what? She's awfully proud to be the best darn gymnast in District 2. Angela Sorcinelli began just this way, as a tumbler. But over the years, her interest grew and her skill increased to a point to where she has become the pride and joy of the Valley View gymnastics team. Saturday in the District 2 Championships, she had the best total score in the 4 events to win the district all-around title.
It was a great feeling. I really enjoy winning, and I get to represent my school down at States, and that's a really good feeling.
Angela worked hard all season, and we were a little concerned about her ankle because she did hurt her ankle. That was our only concern and our only worry if she did hurt her ankle during the course of the day. But it definitely wasn't luck. She definitely performed well, and she deserved it.
Angela's a dedicated gymnast, no doubt. She's combined a lot of hard work with some God-given ability, too.
Definitely her build. She's very small, and she definitely has a very good attitude and a lot of physical potential. And her attitude towards everything is just, let's go for it. And that's what put her where she is right now.
Still, with all that Angela has going for her, she's at a big disadvantage when it comes to competing against the champions from other districts around the state.
It's completely different when you go down there. Like, the girls are really more advanced because most of them practice in private clubs. And we just have 2 hours a day up here, so we're not really that advanced. But we do our best when we go down.
Angela knows the upcoming state meet will be her stiffest challenge ever, but however she fares there, she'll always be a champion and our WNEP TV Sports Star of the Week. Olympics tonight at 7:30.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
And Newswatch 16 continues with the story of some good from the floods.
Mike Stevens found the flip side of the high waters along the river in Shickshinny. Stay with us.
I'm Chad Booth.
I'm Jane Adonisio. Tomorrow night on PM Magazine, we'll be at the Lackawanna Station on the platform of Old 2317.
We're going to take a new look at the Old West. We're going to visit with old-time cowhands who are practicing their work on a modern ranch.
And we'll go on a test drive of the new Kawasaki Superbike to see if it's really the fastest motorcycle in the world.
That's tomorrow night at 7 on WNEP TV 16.
Nearly every story, no matter what, has a good side to it. So it is with the current rush of high water on the Susquehanna. Newswatch 16's Mike Stevens tells us about it from Luzerne County.
You know, we've all been telling you of the bad things the high water on the Susquehanna has brought. But let me tell you about one of the good things it brought to a backyard in Shickshinny. It's Sam Gensel's backyard at the corner of Canal and Butler Streets. The water is not bad here, and Sam thinks that's just fine, because that'll help him.
I got a garden back there, and when the water goes in, it fertilizes the garden. And when I plant the garden, I have tomatoes, it goes 8 feet tall.
8 feet tall on river water. Imagine that.
I growed, some of them weighed at least 3 pounds. I had them weighed over to Acme here.
Sam's garden was covered with water, all right. All that fertilizer just oozing into the dirt.
And I had, on one stalk, close to 4 bushel ripe tomatoes, and I had green tomatoes up into October, the first frost.
So when the water goes down, Sam will plant his tomatoes in the nice, fertile soil the Susquehanna River helped to make. There's an old saying that something good always comes out of something bad.
There's something in that water that just fertilizes the ground better than any cow manure I've ever seen.
Mike Stevens, Newswatch 16 in Shickshinny.
Thank goodness there's something good about it.
That's for sure. And that's Newswatch 16 for now.
Join us on the update when we'll be telling you tonight why some people in Schuylkill County are boiling mad.
We'll be back at 11. Enjoy your evening.